This is only coming out a few months after Onward, and we didn't really know about this project until now? Hey guys, Bloodmoon Bobby here, and surprisingly, Pixar's next movie comes out pretty much right after Onward comes out, which is kind of crazy, especially for Pixar standards. Their next movie, as you can see right behind me, is called Soul, and it is literally coming out only a few months after Onward comes out. Onward was set for release on March 6, 2020, while Soul is coming out on June 19th, 2020. So literally only 3 months after Onward comes out. Now, what exactly is Soul about? That's kind of hard to say. Not that I personally don't know what it's about, or that there's absolutely no details out there on in terms of what the movie is. There is, it's just really hard to get a grasp of what exactly is going on. Pixar put out a tweet that kind of gave a sort of general sense of what Soul will be about, and this is what the tweet here says, quote, "1 year from today, from the day they posted this tweet, Pixar Animation Studios will take you on a journey from the streets of New York City to the cosmic realms to discover the answers to life's most important questions. Disney and Pixar's Soul arrives in theaters on June 19th, 2020. And for an eensy-beensy bit more information, Cartoon Brew has gotten this tagline here that tells a little bit more about what the movie is about. And the tagline here is, quote, "Ever wonder where your passion, your dreams, and your interests come from? What is it that makes you, you?" Now, the only other bits of information we know about the movie is that it's going to be directed by Pete Docter, who you know he's the guy who directed Monsters, Inc., Up, and Inside Out, and it's going to be produced by Academy Award winner, I have to look at her name here, Dana Murray. So it's really hard to try to imagine what exactly this movie is going to be about. Now, in terms of the release date, only a few months after the release of Onward, it's not unlike Pixar to already start hinting at their next film when when the movie they're making has already come out. It's kind of like how, back in the day when the DVD for Finding Nemo came out, we got a teaser for The Incredibles, and then when The Incredibles came to DVD, we got a teaser for Cars. And another example is when I went to see Ratatouille, I remember seeing a teaser for WALL-E. So, obviously, Pixar likes to, build up hype for their upcoming projects. I mean, it's not unlike them to, tease their upcoming movies, even when, the current movies are just coming out. What's kind of interesting is that it's only coming out a few months after Onward is coming out. I guess the closest example I could bring up is it's kind of like how Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur were released in the same year. But even then, Inside Out came out in the summer of the year it was released, and Good Dinosaur followed in the fall thereafter. By the way, I hear some really mixed things about The Good Dinosaur. There goes my phone going off. I hear quite a few mixed thoughts on The Good Dinosaur. Let me know your thoughts on that movie. I'm still wondering if I'm going to check it out. It looks beautiful, but I'm not really sure if the story is going to grab me. But anyway, back to the topic of Soul. So I just really don't know. I mean, it's kind of like what the Collider article I'll have linked below was saying about the movie. It sounds very Inside Out-ish. You know how with Inside Out you had the character Riley, you had a principal character, but the film was mainly focused around the emotions inside her head, like joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust, those characters. So the vibes I'm getting from, this announcement, it almost sounds like what they're doing is they're going to have one tangible location, being New York City, and then there's going to be some kind of wacky, perhaps magical realm where, I don't know, is it going to be once again, it's like the voices inside you, maybe not inside you this time, since it sounds like it's taking place, somewhere, otherworldly. So what is it, like a guardian angel or gods, or I don't know, it's just really hard to get a feel for it. I mean, I end up just thinking of any kinds of possibilities. Is it going to be like fairies or that kind of stuff? Which probably not, since Onward is, was at the time, but from the time Soul comes out, it was only released a few months earlier. So it's probably not going to be super fantastical or a fantasy that sort of thing. It's just like really difficult to not imagine it being like something like what Collider was saying. It almost kind of sounds like a sequel to Inside Out. The only thing though is it just wouldn't seem like Pixar, especially when we like to think of Pixar at its best, that it's just going to be like a rehash of Inside Out. The whole idea of, okay, you have New York City and you're going to have this sort of the cosmic realm. I mean, I think that is kind of more of a testament to the kind of stories that Pete Docter just likes to tell. Like it's kind of like his motifs, if you will. You know, he likes the idea of setting his stories in one physical location, and then there's another location where other things are going on, where the meat of the story is. So I think that's more of a director's sort of trait. I guess you could also kind of attribute it to Pixar as a whole. So I just don't want to picture this movie as, oh, it's just going to be, a slash and burn of Inside Out. Because, yes, even though theoretically Pixar could get lazy and I mean, who knows at this point, you could only speculate. Maybe it is just basically another Inside Out movie. But at the same time, Pixar is a really creative company, and it just wouldn't seem like them to just, do like a repeat of Inside Out, even though it was financially successful. And what also gets me in that mindset is when you look at, Pete Docter's past movies, Monsters Inc., the ones that he directed, Monsters Inc., Up, and Inside Out, those three movies are, they're pretty distinct movies in terms of like their characters and their premises. So it just wouldn't seem like him to like just do it all over again. I guess another attribute, speaking of it, Up and Inside Out, especially since those are two of his more recent projects, is that another thing we can expect is that I think it's, and this is what honestly gets me excited for Soul, is that with Pete Docter's last couple projects, Up and Inside Out, were some of the more touching Pixar movies. I mean, and Coco was also really touching and really amazing too, but he didn't direct that. I'm just focusing on the movies that Pete Docter directed. But with those two, Up and Inside Out, were easily some of like Pixar's most emotional, most feelsy, if you want to use that word, and some of the most the kind of movies that really hit you right there. So I think it's also fair to assume that it's probably going to be also a really emotional, really touching movie, especially if it deals with things like asking the question, where do your passions come from, where do your interests come from. I mean who knows, we may even get this like really amazing story where a character maybe wants to pursue, let's say, like the character in New York City, maybe he or she wants to pursue some kind of a career, or they want to pursue maybe even just like a hobby, or make some kind of really big achievement in their life. I mean, we don't really have information about characters per se, just the basic premise of this movie. But it's really anybody's guess. I'm really just trying to imagine what could they possibly do. Since there isn't too many details about Soul right now, I guess it's really anybody's guess as far as what kind of movie it's going to be, or who's going to be in it, or what kind of characters it's going to have, and that sort of thing. Obviously, if we want to learn more about this movie, we're probably going to learn more about this movie for things like trailers coming out. I honestly don't think, especially since this announcement is coming right on the heels of Toy Story 4, I wouldn't be surprised if we're not going to get a trailer for Soul when Toy Story 4 comes out, especially since the trailer for Onward was just released. What I think is going to happen is when Toy Story 4 comes out, they're going to release the trailer for Onward to go with it. And as for Soul, we may get a trailer, perhaps, maybe it's something like D23. Maybe when Toy Story 4 comes out on Blu-ray, they might release a trailer to go along, and that sort of a thing. But I think it's safe to say that for now, it's probably going to be a little while before we get some more details about the movie. Maybe not to the extent where we have to wait until the movie to come out. I mean, obviously, you'll get, all the answers when, the movie is released. That's when you can make your pure judgments and that sort of thing. But I'm saying if in terms of, getting some more answers in terms of who's in this movie, what are the characters, what does this world look like? Is it going to be another Inside Out, or is it going to be, Pixar at their greatest, which I'm expecting, and it's going to be something a little more different. We'll probably get those answers in things like trailers, and who knows, maybe at D23 they might even do a thing where, they'll do like a panel and have Pete Docter come up on stage and explain, introduce the characters and show their designs and that sort of thing. But obviously we'll just have to wait and see when those answers do come down the line. But what keeps me hopeful about Soul is that they definitely have a good director attached to that. And even though it's kind of tempting to think, Soul kind of sounds like Inside Out all over again, and I really hope that's not the case. Not that I don't like Inside Out. I really liked Inside Out. I thought it was a really amazing movie. I honestly could have thought I thought they could have done more with the world, like the world that Inside Out was set in. But overall, I thought it was a pretty great movie. But it just wouldn't seem like Pixar, especially with how Pete Docter's previous movies were pretty distinct from each other, even if they had some similarities. I just wouldn't expect Soul to be just a rehash of Inside Out. But please let me know your thoughts down below. Are you interested in seeing Soul? What keeps me excited is the fact that they have Pete Docter attached, and I'm excited to see what Pixar can do next. What do you think the movie will be about? What's your favorite Pete Docter movie? What can we expect from this film? Leave all those thoughts down below. This has been Blood Moon Bobby, and thank you guys for watching. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this Blood Moon Bobby video. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it, and feel free to leave a comment. Subscribe to my channel, and ring the bell to get notified when I release my latest videos. Follow me at Blood Moon Bobby on your favorite social media platforms to take part in polls, see my tech tips, and to hear about my video plans. Thanks for watching.